Hello, my peeps. It is Tracey Stewart here, Stampin' Up! Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and the paper pusher, coming to you live from beautiful downtown Moorville on this Wednesday. I will be honest with you, this is going to be a short, well, probably short, because we took the dog to give him a bath. I was late getting home, and I'm exhausted. The dog does not like to be brushed. He does not like to be washed. When we go in public, all he wants to do is visit every other person, so he does not like to be restrained. It is an exhausting experience. But I will say, today was the best he's ever been during a bath. Like, he was surprisingly good. Even the guy at the store said, "Well, your dog," because he's laughing at me because I was talking to the dog. And at one point I said, "I know you're not enjoying this, Rascal. Neither are we." And I could hear him laugh and go, "Neither are we." And he said that Rascal was actually one of the better dogs who had come in for a bath, because some of them you can hear like caterwauling all the way next door. So I guess it's good, but it is exhausting. So that's where we're starting. And now we have wet dog smell too. I don't know. He's scared of the dryer. Anytime I turn on my blow dryer, if on the off chance that I'm like in a rush to go somewhere, which being retired and having more time now, it doesn't happen very often. But should I need to blow dry, he tends to stand at the bathroom door and bark at me and protect me from the blow dryer that apparently is attacking me. So we couldn't blow dry him at the thing. We tried to blow dry him a little bit, but he was getting more worked up the more we tried. So yeah, wet dog smell. Yay. Okay, I think I've stalled long enough. I see my chat. So if somebody would like to try the chat, that'd be awesome. And I would know if it was working. So how many of you guys saw my post on Facebook? I didn't mean to be mean, but I was typing and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to explain it all here. I'll explain it afterwards for those who don't show up. But okay, I knocked my camera somewhere and I can't make it go straight. So I have my paper crooked so that it looks straight on the camera, and it's off by like a half an inch lined up on my desk though, and I keep straightening it. It's driving me nuts. But the more I adjusted my camera, the worse I made it. So I decided to stop. I'll figure out that later. Okay, so I said this was my last What's Up Wednesday. Now, I appreciate everybody showing up. Whatever I do, and it is awesome, and I get comments after the fact, and I love that. I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. I just find that Wednesdays don't work. It's the start of making like sometimes 5 days in a row back to back of stuff. And there's my weeks are fairly full, but sometimes my weeks are full with stuff I don't have to prep for. And sometimes my weeks are full with stuff I do. And so it actually is just going to work better to do Tuesdays, which when I originally started, I did Tuesday afternoons. And then I couldn't move it to Tuesday nights because there was a conflict, but now I don't have that conflict on Tuesday nights anymore. So instead of struggling with Wednesdays, we're just moving to Tuesdays. So goodbye, What's Up Wednesday. Hello, Tuesdays with Tracey. And I'm keeping the same graphic just so I don't lose anybody along the way. It's funny because I was trying to come up with, I like alliteration. You may have noticed that I like alliteration. And catchy little, things that stick in your brain. So I had asked my son, other than technique, like what's a T word you can think of that would like deal with crafting that, I could use for a Tuesday? And he's like, terrific. And I said, well, I think that's a little arrogant for me to say it's a terrific Tuesday. And then he had tubular, which gave me the idea. And this is how my brain works. As soon as he said it, all I could see was a picture, and he told me that if I wanted that graphic, he would charge me for it. He does a lot of my IT for free, but see how our bone folders look? I wanted like a little picture of me superimposed on the bone folder, looking like I was surfing, so it had to be on the water because it kind of looks like a surfboard. Because then it could be tubular. But he said no. So then I'm like, I remember the book Tuesdays with Maury, but I remembered just enough to know that I enjoyed it. And it was about like a reporter or somebody interviewing an older guy who was dying from something. I really should have looked it up beforehand. But I also think it was like this award-winning book. So maybe going Tuesdays with Tracey and equating it to like a literary masterpiece, probably also arrogant. I didn't want to go with Technique Tuesday though, because sometimes it's a technique, sometimes it's it could be something else. I mean, in the case of today, it could just be rambling and show and tell. So one never really knows. But anyways, for now, we're going with Tuesdays with Tracey, and it's going to be at 7 o'clock, and it's going to be right here on my YouTube channel. And we're going to start this next week. I do have some conflicts coming up on Wednesdays going forward too. That's not to guarantee that there will never be a conflict on a Tuesday, but I think it just might work better. So Tuesdays with Tracey. Now let's get to business. There's a new kit that came up. Started today. I was so busy today, I didn't even get around to posting this graphic, which I was going to, but I will post it afterwards. Trying to make it go. So it's 9 cards. It's called Best Destination. And I'm not doing it justice, but the top left card has a boat, top right card has a car, and this kind of bottom card has a scenery. And these are trifold cards. So you're going to basically have 3 pieces. This is going to fold over and have the scenery on it, and you're going to stick your boat to it. And this one's going to have a cutout in it. And so when you open them, but that also gives you like a whole bunch of writing space, and then it folds into this cool trifold card. So this is part of the kit collection. Well, plot glass. We don't really know more than that. This is not the subscription one though. This is the kit collection. And then you see the stamps. Happiness is the best destination. Life is a journey. This adventure is just beginning. And travel it well. I like travel it well. That's kind of a cool expression. I think these cards are going to be great. Retirement, graduation, taking a trip, moving, just a little bit of encouragement. Life's a journey. Sometimes you just need a reminder that, you'll get there. This is just part of the way there. So this is a cool new kit though. So I will probably be putting an order in. Actually, I will for sure be putting an order in next week. I don't have a graphic for it, but next week is the next release of the online exclusives. And I'm hoping to have a bit more information before then, so I can give you guys an idea what's out. The only one I know for sure is these become available to everybody, and come on, the fluffiest. I think once Rascal dries, he's going to be floofy. But look at these great dies and everything. This is an awesome set. So this is one of the ones I could pre-order as a demonstrator, but it'll be available next week. Plus, based on the last 2 online exclusives, because online exclusives are just new this year, but based on the last 2, I'm going to say another, 3 or 4 stamp sets. Some of them will probably have dies. Maybe there'll be a punch. There'll likely be some paper, maybe some embellishments. I have no idea. But I'll let you know as soon as I do. So yeah, for sure putting in an order next week. And I'm just going to wait and order my kit next week. And I'm going to just, roll the dice that they don't all sell out before then. I don't know that they will. So let's see. Next class that's up, and the last of our weekend Christmas card making, is on the 4th of November. So that's this Saturday here in Morinville. I have 1 package of stuff left. So if you are interested, there we go. You can see some of the cards. You get the bundle of cards, the bundle of bases. So you'll end up with 20 card bases and envelopes and a whole bunch of stuff to make them, and some other samples. And I love the bears. Even one of my samples tonight has the bears in it. I can't get enough of the bears. So this is the 1 big package, and we're going to do stuff, and I'm going to show things, and we're going to snack, and it's going to be great. I also checked, and the concession is open at the Leisure Center. So you'll be able to they have good food. So you'll be able to get like your lunch right on site if you want. I do have the option for here that you can add on to get the very cute stamp set and bundle and punch bundle. I just looked today. I always look before I go live to see, and the punch was supposed to be in next week, and it now says the 20th of November. So shipment got delayed somehow. That one's going to be a popular one, man. So if you are interested in that, let me know, and I will watch for it. And yeah, well, still, I'll just keep it on, but you can still come and do this. Like I have my punch and my stamp set, and I've got a bunch of other little add-ons I'm going to bring in, some extra paper that goes with these, and there'll be plenty of things for you to work with. So 1 seat left. If you want that, send me a message, because we're a couple days away from that. Next week is my second last of my weekday card making. So we're making these Christmas cards. That's at Nourish, the lovely smoothie place. They had Halloween smoothies this week, and oh my god, they looked so good. I didn't have a chance to get in and get one. The one tea was like a witch's tea, was these great purple and black colors. I don't know what was in it. I'd have tried it without even knowing. And and then the zombie, no, yeah, something about zombies. And it was the best looking smoothie. And it looked like The Walking Dead, but nonetheless, it was a good looking smoothie. So this is, yeah, next Thursday. And then there's one more on the 7th of December, and then that's it for Christmas cards. But I do have lots of kits still available. So if you don't have time to make it to a class, you either want a kit so you can make your own cards at home on your own time, or you want to give them as a gift, let me know and I'll hook you up. Okay, before I show you that, which is what we're doing, it's time for the November reveal of the wreath. I'm quite happy with how this turned out. So November is another one of those 2 occasion months. So this is from the first Friday in November, or sorry, last Friday in October, I'll get it right. From the last Friday in October until the 11th of February is when poppies are worn. So that's when this wreath is going to go. You may notice that there is now ribbon on my wreath. I made my banner, but I spaced my letters a little too far. So when it was higher up where the original magnets were, it stuck out a bit too far, and it looked better farther down. Like it looked better closer down, anyways. I didn't want to cover my poppies because they're so pretty. so I thought, well, that's okay. I'll just lift up the glue dots, and I started to lift them up, and I thought, oh, this is going to work. And then I stopped and I went and did something else. And then when I came back the second time, I just wasn't slow enough doing it. And I think because I had already started, I ripped the front of my cardboard off my wreath. So I wrapped it in this ribbon. So it bulks it up a little bit, but the better part is the 2 original magnets are right there. So if I want the higher banner for some of the other months, and then I just put the other two magnets are lower down now. So now I have 2 options for magnets, and they're covered up, and the things work. Like I'm picking this up, right? Like the magnets hold really tight even through the ribbon. So everybody in the wreath club is going to get enough of this ribbon. I have 2 rolls of it. That should go pretty far. At our next get together or whatever, so you can wrap your wreath if you want. It doesn't mean you have to rip your wreath. It doesn't mean you have to move your magnets. You could just decide to add it. But anyways, yes, I am proud military family, proud ex-military, and I think we should support our military all year long and thank our veterans every day of the week. But for sure, in the next 11 days, make sure you remember and thank all of those who give us the freedom to do what we do. So that's November's starting wreath. Okay. So you're wondering, Tracey, what are we doing today? Well, let me tell you a story. I saw a picture of a card and I couldn't remember where I saw it. So I thought I saw it in the catalog. And I'm quite happy. Lots of times I'll see a picture and I don't actually save the picture. So I thought, I think I saw it in the catalog. So I looked, and what we're going to play with today is the Tiny Trees die. It says tiny Christmas trees, but honestly, they're tiny trees. They're year round for me. And this is one of those items I told you when you get your new catalog, you got to look at everything. So when you first see this page, you see this adorable stamp set. Come on, look at these guys. And then you see these cool samples. And if you don't look close enough, you completely miss this little like standalone die in this side. So you don't want to miss this one because it's cute as heck. So I looked on here and I didn't see it. So then I went to the bear page because the sample I'm making is, yeah, shockingly, has the bear on it. So I went to the bear page and I looked and I didn't see it on the bear page. And so I thought, I could have swore it was, So then I went to my phone and I looked to see, and luckily enough, like weeks and weeks ago, I saved this picture. So here's the card. Let's see if I can make it focus. No. Okay, I can't make it totally focused, but you get here, way down here, you get the gist. I'll show you a closer view in a minute. So I got this one and I thought, okay, so who did this one? So I still have no idea who did it because on this little watermark on it, it says Stampin' through the catalog. And I thought, maybe it is in the catalog. So back I went to the catalog. It is not in the catalog. So whoever made this card, thank you very much. I have no idea who it is because there's no name on it. I might be able to look up that watermark. I don't know. Anyways, this was the original card. And it was a neat way to use that Christmas die. So this was the card I made. Now I didn't make it exactly. And I also couldn't tell what color she used. So I tried a couple different colors, and then I just went with the one I wanted. So basically, I didn't stamp the snowflakes on here. And you know why? Because I forgot, and I glued them down. But don't worry, I did it on something else. And then I changed the sentiment, and I changed the embellishments. But really, it's the same card. But I loved it, and I love the way this turned out. It's awesome. So yeah, I cased her card. There's nothing wrong with that. And it got me playing because I love the way this card looked, and I love the way that she cut the die into strips. So then I also made this card. But I just my other envelope. There it is. Then I also made this card, which is basically the same card. I flipped the bears to the other side. I just made it with brighter, greener colors because these colors are, this is Pool Party and Lost Lagoon, which are more on the blue side of things. So that I went with the green side of things. So I don't know. I love these cards. So those are my cards I made. But I wasn't done playing. I just wanted to make this card, and I was quite happy how it turned out. So then I thought, ooh, what else can I do with this die? So I'm going to show you what I learned, what I found out as I was playing. Just 1 second. Where did I? There we go. It's a fairly large die. My desk is such a gong show right now, but I'm going to do it anyways. I keep setting things off to the side and then forgetting what I did with them. So this is what the die looks like. Does not look like much on that side. It looks like a lot more on this side. But it's just one big solid die. So this is a standard kind of size layer of cardstock. This is 4 by 5 1/4. So if you were starting with, okay, this card base doesn't necessarily go color wise, but so this is the standard just portrait card base. So this layer, and I'm doing this on purpose, is like a standard layer, right? If you want just a small little reveal around the edge layer. So I'm going to use this, and because I want to show you a couple things as we go, things I found out. So I'm going to, to quote, I don't know, I think it was probably Mike Myers, cuts like butter. It cuts so well. Okay, so I'm just lining this up. Let's see if I can do it with it. Now, you notice one thing right off the bat. When you line this up, it doesn't line up in the center. The die is a bit longer than it is wide. So it's not sized exactly. It's almost, but not exactly like to be equal on a card. Does not matter. It's all good. It fits within this card base. I actually like to make card layers that are 3 3/4 by 5. It gives you a bit bigger reveal, and then I like to usually mat them. But with this one, you'll see why in a minute. Why that may or may not work, depending what you're trying to do. So my whole desk is shaking. I'm trying not to make everything shake. Okay, so here's 2 things. Look at how well this is going to work out for me. I like it when things work out for me. Okay, so here is our die. So it works very well. Pop that up. Now, the one thing you will notice is don't whip it off the thing, because all of these little trees are going to come out. Oh, it's such a fun reveal. Now, the odd one will stick to the card base, but the majority of them, as you see, are stuck to the plate. But look at the little forest it makes. Isn't that cute? So seriously, you don't want them to go flying everywhere. So what I found is if you take a piece of cardstock and you just kind of gather them up, I'm doing this over top of the sheet. This is the easiest way to keep them from going absolutely everywhere. And then, because they're stuck, like I'm running this over top, they're kind of stuck. So you kind of have to give them a little chisel. Okay. And then you can use this to scoop them up. Okay. So I'm going to finish that in a minute, because right now it's in the most awkward position. Just do that so my plates don't go flying. And I'll show you why you want to save those. Don't ever just throw them away. Okay, so back we go. Here's our standard card base. And we just cut with our die. So here's our little thing of trees now, right? And isn't this cute? Like it makes a nice background. But if you're like me, the die is closer in some spots than it is in others. Now, these are not even rows, they're offset rows, right? So this, like every second row, the middle rows have less trees in them. So if you were going to try to do like I wanted to do and cut another 1/4 inch off this paper, you're going to end up cutting into your trees. Now, that's probably not the end of the world. I can only do an 1/8 at a time, otherwise my thing will be off center and that'll really make me bonkers. So we'll just do it, because I can do something else with them. So this is what happens if I want to cut to make it the card length that I want. Now I probably, no, I don't even know if I could. There we go. That's about, I didn't measure that last one, but it's about right. I'm pretty good with the eyeball one. Okay, so here's the thing. So if I wanted to make my narrower one, this is what's going to happen. So if you're going to cut it down at all, you want to be strategic in cutting it down, because if not, you're gonna, it looks like somebody chewed the corner off. Some of them aren't so bad, and like having a half a tree on the edge is not the end of the world, but some of them, it's not going to work very well. Oops, I actually needed this other thing out. So here's the first thing I would recommend is when you go to cut this, use a 1/4 sheet. So this is half a card base, right? So instead of cutting in, you know, like when you make card layers, you trim off, you know, 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch and then cut it to 4. Well, use the full 1/4 sheet, right? So that, for one, it gives you more play around it, which gives you more room when you, if you need to go to trim it later, it gives you options. It also looks pretty cool if you just put the full sheet on, but your die is not so close to the edge, and so it's going to work. For the one card I made, I wanted the die to span the whole card. This next card I made is I like all these cards, but the next one might just be my favorite. But yeah, if you want it to go across the whole card, you got to start with a 1/4 sheet to begin with. So I would say start wider and then cut it down if you need to. So that's, you know, there's another tip for you. Lots of little things I found out. Okay, the other thing I found out, I'm not sure, well, I'll do it with this one because I've already kind of mangled this one a little bit, is if you want to do, so I wanted to do this card, right? So yes, a couple sheets were sacrificed in the pursuit of getting this card right. So I found that this width here is 3/4 inch. To get a nice, you know, clearance around the tree, not too tight, 3/4 inch. Depending what card you're making, you might want it, like you might trim it a little closer, but 3/4 inch was the sweet spot I found. Here, just a minute. I'll line those up. So this is another one. Like you can't see well enough there. So I cut this one a little narrower, and you can still get a good, like you're not too close to the trees. I'm pretty sure this one was 3/8. It's not 3/8. It's more like, let me see. 3/8 would be 6, so it's more like 5/16. But it's like, so it's just a bit bigger than a 1/2 inch, not quite 3/8. But yeah, 3/4 is a lot easier. So when you go to cut these apart, you're gonna have to look at your first row, and I've kind of screwed up my first row, so I'm just gonna trim this piece off. Okay, so when you've cut it, this is your top of your card, right? So you're gonna kind of have to look at it and line up where your 3/4 is, and adjust if you need to, so that when you cut your rows apart, you're getting 3/4. Now, when you go to your next one to get 3/4, see this one, because I didn't like, they're never 100% centered for me, but they work for me. So this one is the trees all of a sudden got a lot closer. So I'm just going to correct. I'm going to shimmy up, and I'm going to eyeball halfway between the rows of trees, and I'm going to cut, and then I'm going to turn this one around, and I'm going to trim it to 3/4. And that gives me a bit more, like a bit better job of centering. So then when I go to do this one, I'm back on line now. I'm like lined up again. So now, like, this one's perfect, right? And then this one, most of them will work. Once you get the first one done, they tend to work, and then you can do 3/4 inch strips. Now, like I said, the trees are offset. See, this one's a little bit wonky, and because the bottom one's already trashed, I'm gonna do the same thing. I think the die is even. I think it's because I'm eyeballing. And yes, you could probably measure and get a ruler out and make sure that they're all perfectly lined up, but the chances of me ever doing that are slim. I will just eyeball things. So yeah, I got a bunch of strips now. So these are the full ones. And then, oh no, those are the, okay, so these are the inside ones. So, right, you can see on the die, these are the three that are inside. These are kind of the ones that, well, because these are on the outside, I call these the outside and these the inside. So one row has 7 trees, one row has 6. So these are the ones I trimmed off to begin with. That's why they're not quite whole. So these ones are perfect on the smaller size to line up. These ones are a little bit wider. So when you're doing them, you can decide, do you want them all the same, or do you want to do like, I lost 2 while I was playing with this paper. I lost 2 of the rows, but by trimming without planning. So yeah, you could decide how you want to do that. Right, line them up. You don't have to use a whole bunch of them. When I'm done and I post the pictures afterwards, I will post a picture of a card that I don't have in person because I already gave it to the person I made it for. It was a birthday card. So I will show you that, but you can use them just as strips. You can use various different things. There's lots of things you can do with them. But if you're going to do it in strips, yeah, just kind of adjust. But if you want like the sweet spot, 3/4 inches, 3/4 of an inch. Okay. Now I have bits and pieces everywhere. I've been having so much fun with this thing. And so, yeah, if I had done that with this card, I would have done the 3/4 inches. So you end up with 7 rows of trees, and most of them will have it like a little bit on the edge. You can trim them or not. But like I said, it works to have it as a whole. It works to have it in strips, and so many things you can do with this. Okay, so here's my first 2 cards. Right, those are with our strips, and they're just basically the same card with different colors. I love this color combination of Granny Apple Green and Shaded Spruce. Love it. Okay, I'm trying not to knock everything over while I do this. Okay, so like I said, I like all my cards, but this one might be my favorite. Oops, how about I get it on screen? Look at this card. Oh my God, I love this card. And this card is easy. Like it's easy. I'm going to show you later why I didn't put adhesive sheets on the back of the, like these, but before I cut them. You could, when you do it, you could definitely put adhesive sheet on the back. I did not. What I did was I cut a sheet out of Shaded Spruce and a sheet out of Pool Party. I cut them out, I scooped up the trees, and then all I did, I'm just sorry, I lost, well, there we go, I found it. Okay, so I told you I was, right, so here's my little thing. Now, depending what you're doing, you might want to keep your colors separate. I just picked through here, so I've been cutting a whole lot. I have a whole bunch of them. There we go. So this is what I did. I gotta find one of these pieces that I didn't trash. So this is all I did to do these. And I found this to be way easier because I don't want adhesive sheets on the back of my tiny little trees. For some of the stuff I did, I do want adhesive on the back, but for some of the stuff I did, I don't. So basically I had to go with well, I don't want it on every one of them, so they're not going to be on any of them. So this is what I did. I put 2 sheets. I did not put 2 sheets. I put 2 strips of tear and tape on the back. This is the back side, right? And then I took my little trees, and this die is fairly true. Like these trees are the same size. I got 2 in my hand. I can't get them apart. Just a minute. my fingers are not so nimble. And then I just laid the tree in and pushed it into the adhesive. So instead of screwing up the ones that I don't want to have adhesive on the back, I just did it this way. Now you could do these all sorts of colors. If you decided you were only going to fill in like every second one, or like fill in just like randomly fill them in, then obviously you would only put tear and tape behind that hole. You don't want to like show it everywhere. But if you want to fill in the whole row, then yeah, you just put tear and tape in. So it will hold them in. And then just need one more of the same color. There we go. And then when you go to stick it down, so like on this card, when I went to stick, I'll show you in a minute when I get my fingers going here again. Oops. Just a minute. I can't get the last one in. Like I said, not the nimblest of fingers. My nails were getting so long, and I cut them the other day, and because I don't like long nails. And now even though they're still fairly long, I feel like my fingers are useless all of a sudden. It's something about like right after cutting your nails, everything's useless. Okay, so there we go. So they're in. They're stuck in there. Isn't that cute? Oh, I love it. Okay, so then when I go to put this on the card, I can just peel this off and stick this straight down. But if I want to put it up on dimensionals, which I did here, let's see if we can get the right angle going. So basically, this pool party layer, the white layer, and the shaded spruce, those 3 layers are raised up, and the other ones are down. I can't quite get that white one to show. It's okay. So what I did, I still peeled this tape off the back, because if not, the dimensionals will stick. But if this gets pushed around too much, it'll just peel the backing off and make your card either go crooked or fall off. So I still pulled the backing off, and I just kind of, you can just use your hand and like go like this over top of it and take some of the tackiness out of the tape. And then I put 4 dimensionals across this space. And the reason I put 4 is because you don't want it to sag, because if you sag, your adhesive's going to stick to your card base. So I, oops, just knocked that out of my own hand. So I put 4 of them in just to hold it up. Now, this is the card I was mentioning earlier. This card is the full, like these strips are the full width of the card. So you could have cut them down, but I wanted this card to go side to side on my stripes. I love this card. Love this card. So that's why so this is starting, like, to make this card, you have to make sure you start with a full quarter sheet, not a layer. Now, the other thing I did, just a minute, my ribbon's blocking what I'm doing there a little bit, or my twine, is these are 3 of the punch outs from the spruce layer. And I just put a glue dot behind them, like folded a glue dot in half, put it behind them. And I've got a little bit of embellishment on my Merry Christmas layer. And this one, this is just a little bit smaller than 3/4 of an inch, just because it was easier to make it space that way. But yeah, I kind of just put these out, figured out where, and I tried a couple different things to figure out what order, because I originally had the colors alternating, and I wanted to pop up some of the layers. And so you just got to play around a little bit. That's why I ended up with 2 spruce, but it looks more, because this is white, it looked funny with a pool party layer next to it. So, but yeah, this right there, 100% worth it for the tree die, if you ask me. That's how much I love how this card turned out. Let me see. So sticking layers. Okay, I think I hit the points there. But yeah, these little trees, they make great little embellishments as well. Okay, so then my next card that I made with the tree die is this one. I know you're saying to yourself, but Tracey, there's no trees on it. And no, there's not. And you'll see when I show you the actual card. But so I started to do this card. And so first, so remember how I said on the original card, I forgot to stamp on here. So I thought, well, maybe I'll just stamp on the base and put some layers over top of it. And then maybe I'll stamp on the layers too, and we'll just see. So I stamped these random snowflakes on it. And I was so happy with how the random snowflakes turned out that I didn't want to cover them up. So I ended up just throwing a couple extra, this is a retired die, but I love it, and it fits perfectly here. And as a person who has a winter birthday, I thought, why not put snowflakes? My birthday's in January. There's snow in January. So I made this one into a birthday card. But yeah, I loved the randomness of the snowflakes. So that's why. So yes, it really doesn't have nothing to do with the trees other than, hey, let's look at how Tracey's mind works. So there you go. So then we went back to the actual making of the card that I was going for. And in the end, I wasn't 100% sure if it was going to peek through or how it was going to work. So I wanted to do just like color on color with the die. So what I did, and this card is not fully put together yet, so I could show you better. Also a birthday card. So I did the full sheet, and I thought, you know what, I'm not going to cut it into strips. And I was going to put the snowflakes, and I did sort of test it. I did have this card, and I did sort of test it, and I thought, the snowflakes don't peek through enough. I thought they might, but they don't. A more solid pattern would, but these snowflakes, they just didn't show through enough like I wanted them to. So I decided to stamp on top. Now, you could stamp a whole bunch of things on your quarter sheet of cardstock and then run it through the die cut, and then it would just be random, and you may or may not have it work out the way you want. So what I did is I ran the cardstock through to begin with, and then I stamped on it. So all the little trees were already punched out of here, and I just stamped on top of it, and I had no problem whatsoever. None of my snowflakes got munched up, nothing. Like, it worked just fine. And then I decided to trim it. So this one is the like a quarter sheet that I ran through the die. And then because I had run it through the die and I could already see where I was going, I trimmed it down to the 4 by 5 1/4. So it does work to have the trimmed one. I just think it's easier to trim it afterwards. So you can make sure and you can see, and if you're off by even a little bit, this gives you the option to like square yourself up in the trimming process. So yeah, I did that. Now I did try, this is why I didn't take this down. When I made this card originally, I did try putting it on a different colored card base. Like my intent was I wanted to see white on white. I like white cards. And it does look really good on the colored card base too, and the trees kind of pop a bit more. And I'm not actually sure which one I like better of these two. So maybe I'll take a picture with both and you guys can all vote. Do you like the white one or do you like the blue one? Either one works. And then eventually I'll either take this down or I'll make another one of these and then have one in each color because I don't know yet. Okay, so for just a minute here, I'm just gonna pop that over there. Okay, so then for the last card I'm going to show you. So I said that you don't want to have adhesive sheet on the back of your trees for certain things. When you put the adhesive sheet on, it's the little piece you peel off is white. It's the same color as like the piece you peel off the tear and tape. So if you put it on, then your tree would be like green on one side, white on the other side. Now, if that's the effect you're going for, that's the way to do it. But that wasn't the effect I was going for. So what I was making though was a shaker card, because as much I decorated this little thing with the trees again too, I just stuck them there with the blue dot. But what I really wanted to make was a shaker card. What? And it's full of all the little trees. And you can see them better in person. It is a bit busy of a card, and I was going to put a solid back, but then once I started doing it, I'm like, no, it's a tree-a-palooza. And so I left it the way it was. So yeah, I made a shaker card, and I did take a couple pictures. So I'll show you a picture of like what the underneath this layer looks like. And these deckled rectangles worked out so perfectly for what I wanted to do, because I cut this piece of DSP and I cut another piece which I glued down. But because this is popped up, I didn't want to be able to see like if they didn't perfectly line up, or to be able to see this darker, the pretty peacock underneath. So I made like different layers here. So I have this. So this was cut out of one piece. This and the back were cut out of one piece. And then this was cut out of a different one. So now not only does it frame my DSP, which is such a cool look, and gives it a bit more stability. Because if I had just put DSP on this layer, it's really bendy. And so it's like this would have been bent a lot. So it worked out just so well. And then I put that down. The back side of this is a stripe in all the same colors. Because I got a piece of it over here. Because I've been busy. I haven't put anything away yet. So it has this, like, is the back side of it. And I was going to flip this piece over and put like the stripes in the middle, but it seemed even busier with the stripes than it did with the trees. So, but the whole point of it is shaker cards are fun. And once you get one, you get your workout too, because you can't stop shaking. So there's little tips and tricks. And one day maybe we'll do a shaker card class, like the whole thing devoted to shaker cards. But I did show you just kind of how it's lined up, just so you can see. It's so much fun though. But yeah, if I had put the adhesive sheet on, some of these are forward, some of these are backwards, and they're unlikely to flip over, but it is possible. So you don't want all of a sudden it. Now I did put white trees in here. Like these are not, this is not stickers. It's just white. Because I threw all of mine in the same bin and I just dumped a bunch in there. They are, for the most part, the colors that are in here. And one of them is not the exact color, but it's close enough. So I just left them the way there. I didn't pick and choose which ones went in there. The other thing you can do, so like I said, you can use these little trees here. But at one point, I was also going to put this layer of trees across here, thinking it might like tone down some of the busy. Nope, it just made it just as busy. So, but I had already cut it. So instead of stamping on the inside, I just stuck the little piece of paper there. And I wish I hadn't trimmed it down first, because I would have liked it to go across the whole card, but it still works. So many different things you can do with this little tree die. If I'd had more time, I could have made like pink and purple. Like, I don't think there's a limit on colors. I can make them whatever you want. Where'd my die go? I have I also stuck some of these little guys, and because I knew I would never line them up straight, I purposely put them crooked on the one envelope. I just stuck some of the little guys on there too. There we go. So there's our die. And there's all the fun things you can make. Now, I started doing this. I had the idea on the weekend, and I made like half of this card on the weekend. The rest of it I made yesterday. I think I finished one of them today, though. I finished this one today because I was having trouble deciding how I was going to finish it. But yeah, they're not hard. I think they're big impact. I think this die is lots of fun. So whether you want the, just buy it just to make the little tree shakers, which are cute. Said layers, full sheets, tone on tone. There's so many things you can do with it. I hope this thing carries forward so that it's available for longer. So there we go. Tiny trees. Okay, I'm going to, like I said, I will take some pictures. You'll see a little bit of before and after with this one. I'll take a couple options for that one so you guys can decide. I'll add the one that I already sent to somebody on there. And yeah, you guys can weigh in on what you think. And then yeah, I will take a picture of this just because it's funny, because it has absolutely nothing to do with trees, but it was made in the creation of trees. So there we go. Tiny trees. So thank you all very much for showing up. I did go almost a full hour, but yeah, seriously, exhausted. The whole dog washing thing has just been exhausting. So that's it for What's Up Wednesday. I hope you'll join me for Tuesdays with Tracey next week. And I will see you in between. I will see you on Friday for our Friday catch up. Hopefully I'll see a bunch of you on Saturday. Hopefully I'll see one more of you because I got one seat left on Saturday for the very cute Christmas. Take care, everybody. Have a good week, and see you soon. Bye.